Hey guys, so I am back and I was in the mood to make kind of a silly little project. So in today's video, we are going to be creating a meme generator using React.js. Now to start off, you're going to make sure you have Node.js installed on your computer. And then we're going to run this command called npx create react app. And then we're going to give the name of our project. I called it meme generator. So I went ahead and already ran this thing and it's going to create us a React project, and we can just open that up in our favorite text editor. And I am in the app.js right here. And I cleaned it up a little bit, so I just have a basic div here. And I started up the server by running yarn start. And then if I go look at that, I can see just hi right here. So the first thing that we're going to do is start to render some templates, some meme templates on our screen here. Now to do this, we're going to be using an API. The API we're going to be using is called image flip. So the first thing we're going to do is use this get memes endpoint. So we can call this endpoint and it'll give us some memes. So if I go to this endpoint right now, if you go to this URL in your browser, you can see the response from the API if you do a get request, which is what you do when you just put the URL in your browser. So here we can see we have data, memes, and it's giving us an array of objects. And the thing we care about is this URL here where we can click on that or render that and we can get a template right here. So perfect. So let's start by rendering these images into our React application. So first thing that I'm going to do is create some state. That way we can hold these templates. So I'm going to say use state, and this is going to be coming from React. Here I'm going to say templates, set templates, and by default it's going to be an empty array. And the first thing that we're going to do is say use effect, and now we only want this to run after the very first render. So to have that happen, I'm doing an empty array right here as the second parameter. So in this function and use effect, this is going to run after the first render. And in here, we want to fetch from that URL and then set the value from the API to the set templates. So we're going to say fetch. Here we're going to put our URL. So we can copy this. I'm going to say dot then. I'm going to say x dot JSON. And I'm going to say dot then. And then here is where we're going to get our data back and we can do whatever we want with it. So in this case, we can see it is this entire thing. So maybe I should call this response instead of data. If I say response.data.memes, you'll see that is data.memes. We have an array of memes. All right, so we can say set templates. Give that a save. So now we are fetching from the API. We are waiting for the initial response. Then we're getting the JSON from it. And then we are saying dot then from that. And we are setting the state based on the response that we get the memes from it. So next thing we want to do is we want to loop over the templates and we want to display the images. So we can do that by inside the div here, putting curly braces, and we're going to say templates dot map. I'm going to say template, and here we're going to return an image, and the source is going to be equal to template.url, and then we are mapping over something, so we want to make sure to use a key or set a key. So we're going to say key, and then we need a unique ID, which if we go back to our data source has an ID on it, so that's perfect, and this is the URL that we're using. If you want to, you could also add a name on top. That works too. And here we can add an alt text. And the alt text for this, I guess the best thing to do is use the name from the meme API. All right, give that a save. And let's go look at the data that we get back. So these things are huge, but we got some memes. Pikachu is huge. So we could probably normalize these a bit size-wise. Maybe if we set like a width of 200 or something, just to make them a bit smaller. Perfect. And that gives us a nice array of memes to choose from. I kind of want to be able to say like click on the meme that I want, right? So that means I need to add an on click to the image so I know when I click on the image and I'm going to choose. So here I'm going to say set template, and this is going to be a template, and this is going to be null by default. So basically I want to store in the state which template or which meme they chose that they want to create. So we are going to say set template is equal to whatever they chose to click on this image. So in this case, I'm going to just pass the template in here. And in my div here, what I'm going to say is if they have not selected a template, show them all the options. And so that is what not template and the mapping will do. So now as soon as I click on this, it will stop showing all the items because I've selected a template. The next thing to do is actually to display the template itself. So we can say if we do have a template, we are going to display an image. And you know what? We're going to basically do the same thing we have here. So I think I want to create a meme component. So I'm going to say components/meme.js. And here we're going to say import React from React. So one of the props that we're going to get is a template, and then we're going to return, have an on click on there too, and then what we're going to return is this. So basically just taking our image and putting it in a meme component. That way we don't have to rewrite all of our props that we pass in every time, and just pass in this on click. So now we can say meme, and we can get rid of all this, and we can just say template is template, and we can keep that here. And then here I can render a meme as well. Template is equal to template, and it doesn't really matter the on click for this one right now. So just to recap what we just did there, so we basically extracted the image logic into its own component, so that way we can use that here and here. And we are basically displaying a list of templates until they click on a meme, and when they click on a meme, that will update the state, and it will set the template or set the meme. And then here we are displaying, when we get a template, the meme component. All right, so let's see this in action. So when I select this guy, he's going to show up here, and we can refresh, and we can do this for whichever meme that we want. Awesome. So that is step one, and maybe at the top here, we can wrap this in a parenthesis and make this a fragment. And we're going to have to do curly braces around this. And the purpose of this is I figured we could add just a header on top. You know, pick a template. So now we have just a header at top. That's optional. You don't really need this if you don't want to. But here we added a React fragment. That way we could add two children basically. Okay. So next step is I want to be able to add text to my meme. So basically I only want to be able to add text once I have the meme selected. So we're going to add it here. And again, we can use a fragment. And underneath here, for example, we can add a input with a placeholder. And we can say top text and bottom text for our meme. And we can now choose the text, and then we want to add also like a submit button at the bottom. And we could make this a form if we want to. And you know what? We could wrap the basically this entire thing in a form and get rid of the this right here, the fragment. And we just need to close our button. And then now we can say type submit. I'm going to say create meme for our button. and then on submit of our form, we're going to say e.prevent default. This makes sure that the form does not refresh whenever it is submitted. And then here we are going to say add logic to create meme from API. So basically we're going to add a request here to create the meme. The first thing they want to do is be able to get the inputs. So we need to create two states, top text, set top text, and by default it's an empty string, and then bottom text. Change, there we go. And so we have these two states. We're going to pass the values into the input. So value here is going to be top text, and then on change, we're going to say set top text is equal to e.target.value. And then we're going to do the same thing for the bottom text, but swap out the names. All right. So now if we were to fill out our form, it is going to put the values in our state up here, which now that we have the top text, bottom text, and the template in our state, whenever we submit the form, we have all the necessary information to create our meme. All right, so let's go back to the API ref, and I will link this in the description below. The next thing that we're going to do is this caption underscore image thing. So this is what we're going to call to create our meme with the text and whatnot. So I'm going to copy this URL, and here we're going to say, and I'm going to make this an asynchronous function. So we can say async there, and that way I can await this fetch. So we're going to paste in the URL. And now this is actually a little weird of an API. Usually what you would do is you would say body, and then you'd pass in all your information that you want to do. So for example, we need to pass in the template ID, the username, the password, the text, and so on. So we're going to say const data, or maybe params, and fill out all this information. Usually I would say like body.params, and we can JSON stringify it if we want to. So there's two weird things about this API. It doesn't actually want you to pass it in the body. It wants you to actually use these as URL params. And secondly, they want you to pass in the username and password for your account to do this. So I thought that's pretty weird. Usually use an API key, but I was like, whatever, let's give it a try. So you're going to want to come up here and just create a account, and then you need to remember your username and password to be able to actually make a request to this endpoint. So yeah, so we have the template ID. This information you should know, and these two values we're going to get from the state. So template ID is just going to be the template that the user has selected .id. The text 0 is going to be the top text. Text 1 is going to be the bottom text. And then the username is going to be whatever your username is. Now, I would actually recommend sticking this in a .env file, and then you can say process.env.react app underscore, copy this, React app image flip username. The most important part is you have to have this initial prefix for create React app to pick up this environment variable. Feel free to just hard code the value as well. Like I could just copy this, put it here, and my password, put it in here. But this is one of those things where you usually don't want to put this in GitHub or Git. So my recommendation is create a .env file and access it like I was showing, and React will pick up on this .env file, or create React app will inject it. All right, so these are our params that we need to pass into this, and we need to do URL params. So what is a URL param? Well, we basically need to do this. Question mark template ID is equal to 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So we need to do like an and then the username is blah, blah, blah. And that's what we need to do. So we're basically going to create a function that takes an object and basically stringifies it in a way that we can send it here. So we're going to create a function at the top, and I'm just going to say const object to query param. Now this is something that you could probably get from a library as well if you don't want to make your own function. Alright, so we're going to do object here, and basically what we're going to say is we're going to return a question mark, and then we're going to loop through this object's values, or its key and value. So we're going to say object.map. Well, we're going to say object.entries. So what entries does is, maybe if we hover, it's going to give us an array where the first value is a string, and that's going to be the key, and the second is going to be the value. So we can say, we can destructure it here, key value, and what we want to return is the key, which is equal to the value. All right, so this is basically going to give us an array of strings and the key values. Or we could say params here. And so what we want to do here is we want to just add this to params.join, and we want to add an ampersand between each key value pair here. So now we can come down here, can make this a string template with backticks, and we can just say object to query param, pass in our params. And we'll see what this actually generates in a second. And here we're going to say const data is equal to response.json. And we're just going to console log the data so we can see the response that we get back. In this case, we can also check what we get here, but let's just see what we get. All right, so we're going to open up our console. Each child in the list should have a unique key. Oh, looks like there's some duplicates in our IDs. That's interesting. I'm not going to worry about that for now, but if we want to, we could dedupe that, but we'll worry that for a further video. All right, so let's click on a template, and we'll add some top text, some bottom text, and we're going to go ahead and create the meme. So it looks like it worked. We got the success back, and we can see the data here in this URL. If we go to it, we can see our meme, and here we can see what it is. So cool. So one thing I wanted to show you with this, if we go to the network tab, we can actually see the request that it created. So if I click on this, and yep, it shows it up here. So this is what our function was doing. So it took that array, or sorry, that object, and it says key value and key value and so on. So that's what it did right here to put the query params up there. All right, so we have that. The last thing that I wanted to do was just display the meme that we created in our website. So it was data.data and then URL is what we want. So maybe we can call this something too. We can just call it JSON maybe, so it's a little easier. We're going to say json.data.url, and that's going to be the URL of the meme that we created. So I'm going to create a state up here. This is going to be the meme that we created. So I'm going to say set meme, and by default is going to be null. And here we're going to say set meme, and we're just going to set the URL that we got back. So then at the top here, I can say if we get a meme, we're just going to return our div, and then we're going to say, actually we're just going to display our image, and the source is going to be the meme. I guess we can call it custom meme. All right, and I'm going to center this with text align. Oops, we need to wrap this in parentheses. All right, So let's give this a try. The size actually might be way off too, so to be safe, let's just say width 200. Alright, so we're going to create our meme. I'm going to click SpongeBob. We're going to say React and create. And we can see our meme here. Unfortunately, it is all caps. That is sad. But cool, it created our meme. You can refresh and we can do this again. And we can say view. I don't know, let's give it some random bottom text just to see if that works. It's kind of awkward that they put the bottom text right here on this meme. Maybe this meme generator kind of sucks, this API. Oops, go back here. Let's try this one. I keep hitting back arrow. We didn't create this where it was keeping track of history of the routes. Alright, they actually match up the words correctly here. Nice. You actually need kind of like a third text here too. Anyway, there you go, guys. That is our meme generator. We got the gist of it created. We can pick our meme. We can add some text. We probably want to get into maybe this box thing. That might work out better for us than just using text 0 and text 1. But there you go. That's how you can create a meme generator using React.